Welcome to another episode of Webinar Wednesday. Now, one of the most common questions that we get asked is how to pay suppliers in India. And we've used so many different types of payment solutions. We've used banks, and after I think almost a year of looking through various service providers, we finally found Airwallex. And we are really happy with the services that Airwallex offers. And we've done a webinar with them previously. And we've got Justin from Airwallex back on today to answer some questions related to payments, because we're still getting a lot of questions in the group related to payments. So today's webinar is going to be about payments, and Justin from Airwallex is going to be answering any questions that you might have about paying suppliers or even receiving your Amazon payments in your account. So Margaret and Kevin, how's it going, and how are you guys doing? Have you been able to sleep? You've been up late?
No, I didn't last night. I just decided I can't do the late night shift and the day shift as well, because it's going now. The challenges we've been doing with Titan are going for like 3 hours. So it's sort of most of the night gone by you do it. So I've parked. I've tried to get back into a sleep pattern now, but I did listen to the start of it last night. So I'm getting there, but it's really good.
Yeah, you two look a little bit worn out this morning, from what I can see.
You've been sleeping and you haven't been joining us at all.
There's no way I could sort of stay awake.
Yeah, so for those of you wondering what we're talking about, this is a challenge that we're doing with a Titan Network. It's a 5-day challenge where they are basically saying that you can double your sales if you follow the strategies that they are showing in the challenge. So very interesting. We've already done days 1 and 2, and then we're getting ready for day 3. And October is going to be a very, very busy month for us. We've got so many events coming up, so many workshops coming up. So first of all, we're going to be starting with the boot camp next week. This is with Tim Jordan. And this is a great workshop. If you are new, you're going to be learning a lot of, learning strategies about how to find products to sell on Amazon, because this is something that most people really get stuck with. And even experienced sellers, I think, struggle with finding products. So we're running this boot camp with Tim Jordan. This is the 5th time that we're doing this boot camp. It's been really successful. We've been doing it for almost a year now. And we've, in fact, expanded the boot camp this time to add additional speakers. So we've got Norm Farrar, Anthony Cofrancisco, Emma Tamir, and a couple of more speakers as well, who are coming in to give additional information about the things that you can do in Q4, for example, to improve your conversion rates, to improve your sales. So that's one very exciting workshop that's coming up. And then the next one that we have right after the boot camp is listing workshop. So this is a workshop with Verity Sivell, and this is a deep dive into listings and also keyword research. And Mark, maybe you can talk a little bit about this workshop. What all does Verity cover?
Yeah, well, I think it's fantastic because, look, people don't realise, I think, the importance of having a great listing from day one. And I keep harping on about it. Get your trademark, get your A+ content and your storefront, get dressed ready to go to the ball on the first day. Don't go, in your rags and then try to be Cinderella in 6 months' time. So I think Verity goes through all that, everything in all those processes. So from, actually how to write your listing, what your title should look like, what your bullet points should look like, what your whole listing looks like. So it's a really, really in-depth, sort of 2 days. I think it's about, what do we go for? About 5 hours, I think, overall, don't we? I think with that.
About
so
6
there's a
six
lot
hours
of information.
Yeah.
6 hours. So if you're actually, just starting out and, you want, and I think, look, some people just pay somebody to write their listing. I don't think that's a really good idea, because if you just do that, you don't know how to fix it later, because your listing doesn't stay. When you go live, you might find you need to tweak some of the words. You might, get some better phrases from, some PPC campaigns or things. So you need to change it. So you don't have to keep going back paying someone every time you need to change something. So I think it's good to learn how to do it. Once you know and understand it, then you can pay someone else to go and do it if you are busy enough and rich enough to afford to do that. So I think it's really important that you know what you're doing yourself. So, guys, I think jump on board if you're starting out now and haven't done a listing before. It's well worth it.
Yeah. And what I also like about this workshop is that Verity jumps on Amazon and she'll go through various listings and, show you what's good, what's not good on various listings. And then she also does a listing review. So there can be, people can volunteer to share their listings, and then she does a critique. So that is absolutely very incredible. So check out that workshop. And then the third one that we have coming up in October, end of October, is the Shopify workshop. This is one that we're so excited about. Now, this is a 4-week workshop, and it's going to be done by Nicole Whitlock, who's a Shopify expert. And again, this is the A to Z of selling on Shopify. And of course, as many of you know, Shopify is sort of the next frontier of e-commerce. I mean, of course, there's Amazon, that's the most important e-commerce platform, but Shopify is increasingly becoming so important, and especially now with social commerce becoming popular. So Shopify plus platforms like TikTok or Facebook or Instagram just make such a great combination for a great business. So, Kevin, do you want to add anything about the Shopify workshop? I know you've been very excited about this.
Yeah, well, for a long time.
Oh, Kevin's
unfortunately,
connection is a bit unstable.
Is it? Okay, just carry on, Megla.
Okay, you're back now. Do you want to try again?
Yeah. I'd just like to say, poor old Nicole, she was unlucky to strike a bit of COVID, but fortunately she's now going to be back to do, because we did sort of look at doing the Shopify earlier in the year, so it coincided with Q4, so people could get a bit of momentum. And unfortunately, with Nicole contacting the COVID, this wasn't possible. But look, everybody's looking forward to doing this with Nicole. And I mean, for over 4 weeks, wow, a lot of great content. So anybody that's looking to sort of start from the beginning, it's perfect, isn't it? I mean, for me, it's like A to Z of, or A to Z for our American friends, for beginners to start. And I mean, Nicole is very, very good at what she does. And I mean, we've had her on the show. We've had her on the show a couple of times, haven't we? And sort of really enjoyed.
I think too, like people, because Nicole's plan is on day 2, you actually set up your Shopify store live. So it's a bit of an interactive workshop. So, hey, by the middle of November, you'll be finished the course. And if you've got stock in a 3PL in the US, there's no reason why you can't be selling on Shopify for Christmas, because provided you've got the stock in the US ready to go in another, if you're selling on Amazon already, you can expand, because she goes through all the steps, and basically at the end, your Shopify store, if you put the work into it, she's not going to do it for you. You've got to go away and do the works during the week, but you'll have it up and ready to go. So she teaches you everything before and she makes you open your account up and get, go live, so you're not sort of struggling later on. So I think that should, maybe find a lot of people live on Shopify for Christmas.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. And I really like that the workshop is spread over 4 weeks. So you can, whatever is taught in on the first day, for example, you can go back, rewatch the videos or implement it, or, do your own research. And then you've got 1 week to sort of digest all the information, and then come back on the second day, the following weekend, and set up your workshop, your Shopify website and everything. So and it's a very follow along kind of format that she's got. So she's got step by step, do this, then do this, then do this. And so you can really follow along. And her objective is to have your Shopify website up by the end of by the second day, actually.
And really, look, most of the sales in the US I've found, the busiest time is 1st of December to about the 20th. So that's really the peak selling time. So you're going to miss Black Friday or whatever it is, but the rest of the time, hey, jump on board.
Yeah, awesome. So guys, check out these workshops. A lot of great content, great very incredible presenters as well, really experienced in the areas that they specialize in. Okay,
fantastic value for money, Megla.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic value for money. Yes, they're very, very affordable. some people told us we should charge in the thousands for these workshops that we do, but we want to keep them affordable for people. So, okay, let's say hi to a couple of guys. We've got Trish here. Hi, Trish. Good morning. How are
Trish,
you?
Congratulations. She messaged me at 5:25. She was just going to bed. She had just finished the Titan workshop, and she's up again.
Oh my gosh! Wow, Trish, you're committed. Fabrizio Sotera, hi, how are you? Mano, good morning, Mano. Mano is up bright and early.
Absolutely.
Where can I get the dates for these workshops? So, Rasnita, if you go to this website, theasianseller.com, you'll see all the workshops are listed there. So, for example, you can just type in this URL into your browser, theasianseller.com/bootcamp. And that takes you directly to the bootcamp page. And you can see the dates right at the top of the page. And also at the bottom, all of the timings are mentioned as well on all of the pages. So let us know if you can find it. If not, we can also post a link in the description or in the comments. And I still haven't made it to bed. Oh my God, she's been up all night.
We better be interesting today or she'll go for a snooze on us.
I know. And Mike
Morning,
Sharma's here too. Okay, so let's get started. Justin has been waiting backstage very patiently. Justin, hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
Hi,
Well,
Justin.
thanks.
Good to see you again, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Counting down,
So
another
excited to be
month
here.
to get out of lockdown?
Yeah, hopefully. I really need a haircut.
Well, Justin,
So
you're
do
not
I
in your
too, mate. Yeah, I need one too.
But Justin, you're not in your car today.
Yeah, there's a nice change, right?
Aw.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We missed the car. For those of you wondering, the last time we did a webinar with Justin, he couldn't make it to office because of traffic, and he was in his car doing the live webinar from his car. So that was pretty interesting.
A
Change of
true trooper. Yeah, the show must go on.
Oh, look at that. Trish is saying I'm sitting here doing Airwallex payments right now.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
There you go. Okay, cool. So Justin, first of all, I mean, most of our community already, knows you and knows Airwallex, but for people who have been, as Mark says, living under a rock, do you want to just maybe give a brief introduction about yourself and Airwallex as well?
Yeah, sure. So I'm partnerships manager at Airwallex, and I manage really cool partners like Sourcing Network and other e-commerce kind of platforms. And basically, Airwallex started 5 years ago by one of our co-founders, Jack. He actually made a small coffee shop out in Docklands, and it's still there actually. It's called Tuck & Co. And basically, he was importing all these coffee cups because he wanted to create the next Starbucks. And during that time, he kept getting hit with the 3% international fees every time he was buying off Alibaba. And given he'd been at NAB working in FX, he thought there had to be a better way. So that's where Airwallex was born. And since then, it's been a pretty crazy journey in that he used, in terms of used FX as the way of starting, but essentially we're trying to build out the best business platform so that you don't actually have to go, I've got a small business where I've got a restaurant, and to open a Westpac card for my staff, I have to sign so many forms, I have to ID myself. Everything about Airwallex is about making it self-service. So we started off with FX, then we actually moved to creating bank accounts around the world. So this is what you'd be using for Amazon FBA. So if you're selling in America and you wanted to collect, you can use an Airwallex account to do that. Also means that you can test different markets without needing to set up entities. The next piece we got is cards. So now that you've got the money, you need to spend it, right? And most of our competitors only have one card, whereas we can issue as many cards as you want. So I actually dabbled in Amazon selling like a year ago, and buying like barcodes was super daunting for me. And all the sites were like subscription based, and some of them weren't. So like what I could do is I could go onto Airwallex, make a card for $100, and they can't take any more. So that's one of the other benefits of the cards, and it kind of highlights Airwallex's focus. Like we're laser focused on businesses, so we can only really support businesses. Whereas like your TransferWise, your FX, and all the other providers, they're more for personal and micro. So we have a lot of business tools that are super useful. That we integrate into Xero, makes your life super easy. So like each card will feed through us to Xero as well. So like for example, I do a different card for TikTok ads, I do a different card for Facebook, and it makes it really easy for me to see what's going where. And then the final piece that we recently launched 4 weeks ago is actually the ability to accept payments. So we'd be one of the only platforms now that you can actually use us instead of Stripe. So this is really useful if you've got any wholesale customers who want to pay by card, or you're selling like on WooCommerce or Magento overseas. And we charge about 3.2% for international transactions. When I've actually got a store on Shopify that's charging on Stripe, and all up, it's almost like 5-point-something%, and they force you to convert. So that's kind of our latest feature that we just released. We also raised another 200 million, so we've got lots of money to keep building out really cool functions for you guys. And the Amazon FBA space is an area that we really want to grow in. So, like having Megla, having you guys like giving us feedback and letting us know what we need is super exciting.
That's so Justin, when you say that you've got the Stripe now working, so with people who start this new Shopify, are they going to be able to use their Airwallex to do that, or is it only people in certain countries? How's that going to work?
So it's only 5 weeks old. So we're trying to build out, Rome, and it just takes, it's like building block by building block, right? Last time we spoke, a few months ago, we didn't have this. So right now we've only got WooCommerce and Magento. Shopify's we're testing it at the moment. So once Shopify's live, definitely that's something that we can help with. But at the moment it's WooCommerce, Magento, and basically just invoices. So if you've got if you need to pay a link, pay by link, that works as well.
And so is this available for all countries or certain countries?
At the moment, it's available Australia, Hong Kong, and UK. We just got our Singapore license, so that should be coming through in the next, we've applied for everything, so we should be able to get that in 3 months. America, we just got our license to onboard customers, and they've got cards. They don't have payment processing yet, but basically we're trying to grow on all fronts and get all our features everywhere.
It's amazing how much you've grown.
Yeah, I think it really highlights when you go onto the Airwallex platform and we're only 5 years old, and you look at a bank that's been around for 50, 100 years, and even OFX has been around for 20 years. And the platform, the ease of use, I think that really highlights just how fast we're going, and also just how useful we're going to be for businesses. Like everything being self-service and not having to call anyone, speak to anyone all the time is pretty makes you pretty free.
And the best thing I like about Airwallex is the user interface of the website and how easy it is to kind of navigate and get things done, and it's fun almost to bank on Airwallex compared to my regular bank, which is kind of the platform is kind of scary and unstable. So Mark, you've been using Airwallex to pay your suppliers, right, in India?
Yeah,
so how's that going?
Well,
and how does it compare with your previous service provider?
So much cheaper. I can't remember. I think my fee was under $10, and I paid $26,000 or something out. So it was amazing that I didn't have any extra charges. So because I used to be paying couple of $100 or something at a time. So it's been really good. And I'd said to my supplier, let me know if you get any hit with any big charges. And he obviously didn't, because I haven't heard from him. So I'm sure I would have got a message because I told him I'm trying this new thing, let me know. So I think he was obviously quite happy with how quickly he got his money, because it goes through so quickly. I find that's the most amazing thing. My payments come through, well, from Amazon, it comes through a day quicker than it always did previously. And it doesn't matter who I pay, it just seems to, work really well. And I like that I can sit there and transfer money from, US to Australia, and you can just watch it go over. You just go, oh, there it is, and it's just jumped across from another country. It's really fun. You can sit there and sort of have a bit of a play with it. It's quite interesting when you open it up and, you can just move things around. But I think the best thing I like is the debit cards. Because, if you somebody wants you to sign up to a subscription for something, and you pay for it out of there, you can just say I only want to spend $49. I'll put $50 in the account, and that's it. And so they can't come back and ever re-hit your bank account. I was wishing, because we've been sort of strung with a few of these silly, I don't know, was it Netflix, something Kevin signed? What did you sign up to, Kevin? KO Sport. And the next thing, they're taking all this money out of my account every month.
Oh, KO, yeah.
It's so hard to stop it, because they apparently don't stop taking it. When you cancel, they keep taking your money. And I'm going, God, I should have paid that out of Airwallex, and I could have just given them one thing. So in that respect, it protects you a lot, because, sometimes people come to you and want you to subscribe to something, and you don't really want to pay it again next year, and they just do an automatic deduction. So if you don't have enough money in there, they can't. So I think it's a great idea. So, and 2 seconds, I just made a card the other day, and I just went in and went, new card. And I went, I just created a card. Here's my account number. In like 10 seconds, it was back to me with my new credit card and due date and CCV and everything. So off I went. I went, wow. So yeah, fantastic. I really
debit card, right?
Yeah, debit card. Yeah, not a credit card. Yeah, no. Hey, if they had a credit card, that'd be real fun.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Just think. Do you think that'll be a possibility?
Yeah, I think that everything that you can do at a bank will eventually want to do and allow you to do that. So, but it's just like steps, like it took us probably, we got our virtual cards, and then it took us another 6 months to get physical cards. And then we're just about to launch Google Pay and Apple Pay. We've got expensing functions coming out next year. So if anyone's got like a larger business, you can actually get your staff to actually upload invoices and automatically reconcile for you. So it's definitely on the roadmap, but probably like a couple of years away. But who knows, might be sooner, given how fast we're going.
So I guess one of the issues that people have is, the conversion rates are pretty high, especially if you're using regular bank. Like I have a Singapore dollar account, and when I send payments in US dollars, I lose so much money just in the conversion. So do you want to just tell us what is the typical conversion exchange rate, I guess, that you have, and how does it compare with banks or other service providers?
Yeah, I've actually found this super interesting. So prior to joining Airwallex, I'm an accountant by trade, but I never really understood how FX worked. I just clicked to the end of the thing of the, CommBank, and this is what I'm paying. And, it's like too much hassle to go do something else because I've already spent half an hour, like 20 minutes trying to get to that payment point, right?
Likewise.
So we're Airwallex, yeah, right? It's like you've already done all this work, you just accept it, right? You need it to go through today. So the Swift network is actually it's almost like a text messaging service. So there's no ship carrying money from place to place. It's actually just debits and credits. And I should know this, but I didn't know this until I joined Airwallex. And essentially, basically, each country has their own like a main bank that Swift is partnered with. So for example, if I'm with ING and I want to send money to Kevin, you're with Silicon Valley Bank in America, most likely ING will send it to ANZ. And then ANZ might send it to JP Morgan, and then JP Morgan might say, hey, Justin wants to send Kev $100 to, Community Federal Savings Bank, and then they might go Bank of America, and then they'll go to Kev. And basically along the way, everyone takes a cut, and it's really expensive. But all they're doing is really just texting. It's like it's just a messaging service, right? And that's all it is, right? And they've been able to do this for, I think over 30, 40, 50 years, and they've been making a ton of money on it. So Airwallex's big idea on this is that what if Airwallex had, 100 million sitting in every bank account in every country? And that would mean that if I want to send $100 from Australia to you, Kevin, in America, we can just send it out of our local Airwallex account. So then we actually don't need to go through that system. And then we can actually offer really low rates. So that's kind of the technology and the big idea. And we've got I think we're over 80 partner banks where we can do these payouts. And that's also why you receive your money really quickly as well, because we're actually doing it as a local transfer to you. So typically a bank will charge between 3 to 5%, but it's not even just the percentage. It's the fact that you don't know how much is getting there. That's the most frustrating. Your supplier's like, hey, you shorted me $25. And you're like, I can't even send you $25, right? And it just doesn't really make it a good relationship. Whereas with Airwallex, you can always select who pays what fee. You know exactly that we're charging 0.3%. And then you can actually send someone $25 because we're doing it via, a local method. You can send someone $100 for samples or $20 for samples because we're actually doing it out of that local bank account.
Yeah, I think it's great when you're doing business, it's great that people get the money, you know, the next day or within that trading day. You know what I mean? Whereas in the past, people would have to wait, you know, days and days to sort of see payments. And I know when we were dealing with China, you know, we'd send payments, you know, to a Hong Kong bank, and we could actually get our goods out because we paid, you know, but it would take that long. Am I going in and out?
Yeah, you did.
A little bit. But you're okay. But we can understand. Yeah,
I get the gist of it. I think that you're totally right. Especially with shipping the way it is at the moment. If you miss it by a few days, you might miss Christmas, right? So it's actually pretty important to get your payments quickly.
Yeah, for those that missed what Kevin said, what we used to happen is we would pay them, say, today and say, here's a fax of, our payment's gone through. And like a week later, we'd be going, why haven't you released our goods? Oh, because our accountant hasn't got the cleared funds yet. And you didn't know whether they were telling you, fibs or what was happening. But we found it just took forever to get that payment process that they would release our goods. So, and I think with this, we get the messages even from Airwallex saying, this has happened, it's processed, it's been received, and that's really good. So I think for that, especially if you're dealing with China, I think it would be a lot, in India, I find that suppliers aren't as rigid on, having to have the cleared funds. If they know you're paying and they can see that payment's gone through, most of them will let the goods go. But I think China's a little bit tougher on that because obviously, they've probably got a lot more transactions happening.
Just to be clear on that, though, when they have a relationship with you, they'll let go, not if they don't.
Yeah, not for first-time buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. No, just to be clear.
So, guys, if you have any questions about paying suppliers or Airwallex or receiving your Amazon payments into Airwallex, type them in the comments now and let us know. We usually get so many questions in the group, and now everyone's quiet. But yeah, if you have any questions, type in.
Yeah, another thing is that, of course, you can leave your money in Airwallex. So a lot of the other PSPs that Amazon use, you can only leave your money there for 3 months, and they will automatically, for us in Australia, send all your funds back out of the US into Australian dollars. So, it might work depending how the dollar's floating around, but sometimes you don't want it. I never want to bring it back if I've got another shipment to pay for in 6 weeks or something. So with Airwallex, you can leave that money in there indefinitely. So I think that's another bonus because there's nothing worse than having to transfer money back and forwards every, a few weeks if you're buying more stock and things. So, and especially for people paying for, little samples in India. A lot of the PSPs won't let you pay for a, $50 sample or something, which you can do for Airwallex. So, all those things are just so much more beneficial.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be super annoying because then you have to do a double conversion. And actually, one of the other things is that I found out through Jason Tay is that a lot of the other PSPs actually charge 0.3%, even if you're doing USD to USD. So even if you accept, the Amazon payment as USD and then you pay a supplier in India or in China, they actually still charge you a conversion rate, even though you're not doing any conversion. So that was just a fun fact that we found out.
So
that happened to me because I'm sorry.
Go on. No, go ahead, Mark.
No, so when I moved my money from my other PSP into you, they charged me about $120 to move my money across, and it was USD to USD.
Yeah. Which doesn't really make any sense. But
I don't know why, but I couldn't be bothered. I'm out of there, so I couldn't be bothered bringing them up and arguing. I thought I might as well save my time and use it worthwhile somewhere else. So sorry, Megala.
Yeah, so for Airwallex, USD transfer, there are no charges, right? I mean, there may be intermediary bank charges, or there may be charges by the, other banks, but not Airwallex.
Yeah, so there's a SWIFT fee. So basically, so back on the idea of we've got local bank accounts, we have to be holding local currency. So we don't have a USD bank account in China or a USD bank account in India because they don't actually support local USD transfers. So when we're doing a transfer of USD to a country where USD is not native, we still have to use the SWIFT network. But our main difference is that you can see really clearly what you're going to be charged. I think we only charge $10 as a flat rate. And then so it's still way cheaper than anything else.
Definitely. Yeah, and I really like that as you're creating the payment, you can see the fees right on the right hand side column. You can actually see the fees in real time and also the conversion rate. And you can see Airwallex's rate and then or the Airwallex markup, right? You can actually see that. So that's quite
Well, I usually open up Yahoo Finance and have a look on my phone and go, wow, it's hardly any difference at all. I always get excited. I always have a look and just see what the rates are, and I'm amazed how close to the current OFX rate it is. So it's good.
Yeah. So can we accept non-Amazon payments in the account? Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. That's actually definitely. Yeah, Mega. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you can definitely accept whatever payments you like.
Yeah, go ahead, Justin. Elaborate.
Yeah, so if you've got any, like if you're selling anything, like basically you can use it like a local bank account. So, so essentially when you create an Airwallex account in America, that account will be in your business name. You can add it to invoices, and whoever's paying you can actually pay it using a local method. So, if it's American, they'll use ACH, and they can just do it as a bank-to-bank transfer, like a domestic transfer.
Do you want to do a screen share if you have
sure.
Like a demo account or something, maybe just to quickly show people how it works? Because you can open bank accounts in different countries, different currencies. And there we go. Okay, you got a lot of money there.
Yeah. Well, Well, hopefully everyone will have this much, because of all the money you're saving with Airwallex. I'm sure everyone will have this much in their account.
Justin, is your page just gone into the bank?
Sorry.
I said your page just gone into the bank, right?
Yeah. Pay.
No, definitely. So basically, so this is your wallet. This is your heart of your Airwallex account. These are all the different currencies you can hold, and we're always adding to it as well. So yeah, like you would see every couple of months, you'll see more and more currencies added on here. To create a bank account, you go here and you can make as many as you want, but you go create global account, select USD, go next. And then you've got a bank account that's in your business name. So you can actually connect this. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? I remember a couple of years ago, I wanted to set up an entity in US because I was like, let's expand, and it was just so crazy, like the legalities and stuff. And now you can just do this without actually needing to create an entity. Don't even need to worry about tax until you get a bit bigger as well. And then basically, you can also go here to export, and then this will actually give you an Amazon account letter as well. Recommend contacting Amazon first before you make a switch. I actually learned this from Meg or Marge. So you should contact them first and prior to getting the change. And they'll allow you to switch across your payouts to Airwallex. Other features include the ability to convert. So as Megla said, and Marge, we're super transparent with our pricing. So like even Wise is dynamic pricing, so you don't know how much you're going to get each time. I think the thing I love about Airwallex is that I don't have to shop around anymore. I just know that this is going to be the best rate. It's pretty much on par with Western Union, but Western Union is like pretty crap, like not that great to use.
For business, yeah.
Yeah, for business it's not that great. But yeah. So this is where you go to convert. I'll show you how to make a payment to suppliers.
Okay, and this is actually Oksana's question. I'm going to make my first payment from my Airwallex account. I'm confused what money would be used from global account or AUD account through conversion. Sorry if I missed it. So maybe you can show Oksana how to do this. And Oksana, can you tell us if you have your money in your AUD account or your USD account? Where do you have it now?
And where are you paying to?
And I think she's paying to
India.
Yeah, I'm not sure, India Perfect. Or China. I'm not sure, but most probably India. I mean, if she's here.
Definitely. So you don't actually need to convert ahead of time. Oksana, you can actually just come here and then basically select India, and then select what currency you're paying in. So most of the suppliers would want USD, unless you're paying for something small like samples, then you can actually pay them in Indian rupees. And then basically you can come here and select Swift payment. So we charge a $10 fee between 0 to 3 days.
She's paying to Germany and she has a USD on global account.
Okay. So let me go back to this. So the global account is basically just a funnel. It doesn't you don't actually need to create this to make payments. So like it's your Airwallex account is actually all within your wallet, like here. So then to make a payment to Germany, we'd go transfers, go new transfer, someone new, sorry, contacts, new recipient, business, and go Germany. So then if you're paying them in euros, you can actually use a local payment and then it will actually be free. So depending on what payment you're using, let me check. And then if you're using USD, you'll need to use Swift. So the main difference there is that euros is a local currency, whereas US is not. So where possible, if you can pay in local currency, that'll save you, it will save you the Swift fee. But it depends on the customer as well. It's also a lot quicker if you do use the local payment, like local currency. Like we can pay into the UK within seconds, like instantly, and Australia is within 3-4 hours. So it depends. So where possible, we recommend doing local. So over here, you'd select Swift.
So if we want to pay them, if we want to pay them in USD, we select Swift. If we want to pay them in Euro, we select the local one. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you change this to USD, then you'll see that it's a Swift payment here.
Okay.
And then, so once you've created their account, you just go to transfers. You don't actually need to do a conversion ahead of time. You can just go here, go new transfer, existing recipient, EU supplier. On yours, it will say USD, and then you go EU supplier, and then it'll automatically do the conversion here at the 0.3% rate. So the conversion tool that I showed you earlier is really just if you want to hedge. So if you think the USD is going to go up or go down. That being said, like as people just starting out, I don't really recommend it because it's pretty hard to pick FX rates. Like when the Australian dollar hit 67 cents, I'd converted like 20 grand because it's never been that high. And then for the last year, it's been like 70 something cents. So now we're like, yeah. So there's a really good book by the founder of AirAsia where he just recommends not to do FX. So yeah. So yeah, so that's how you create a payment. Any other questions on that?
Let's see. So it's a great point.
If someone pays us in USD into our USD account, is there a fee charge for receiving the funds?
No, there isn't. So the way that would work is you'll come to your wallet tab, go to your global accounts, and there's no fee being charged at all. So you can just give them this bank account, and it's a local bank account, so we don't charge any deposit fees.
The other thing I guess we should also clarify is that the USD account is only for local transfers, right? I mean, especially for me in Singapore, that's how it was.
Yes.
And
yes. That's a good point, I got.
True for Australia as well? Because we had this issue where I sent a payment to someone and I did a Swift payment to their Airwallex USD account, but that didn't go through because the USD account only accepts local USD payments. So if you want to receive a Swift payment from somebody, outside of the US, then it has to be to another account, right? Do you want to explain that, Justin?
Yes. Yeah, so it has to go to a Hong Kong account. So basically we've got this Hong Kong account with DBS, and basically it can accept all these different currencies internationally. So this is our most powerful account. Basically you can select USD, and then that would be the best way to make a payment through. So you get them to deposit into here, and then it'll basically all feed through to your Airwallex account. And it'll be similar to the one Yeah, it will just feed into your Airwallex wallet. Yeah.
Okay. But when you say send it to your Hong Kong account, doesn't mean that the money is actually going to Hong Kong. It's you have your money in USD in your Airwallex account, and you can use it, just like you would any other funds there, right?
Yeah. So definitely. So basically, the Hong Kong account is still just an entry point, and then once your supplier deposits into that entry point, then it just feeds into here. Yeah. And then basically, so the idea is the money can be anywhere, right? Depending on where you need to pay it locally, we can basically have your money there and pay it for you locally. And then this is basically the heart of it.
So if I'm based in Australia and I'm accepting payments from Amazon, then those go into the US account, right? They don't go into my Australia. Payment. That's a local payment. Okay.
Yeah, so the way that flow would be, you'd give them that USD bank account, it'll feed through into the USD account here. Then you go to the transfers tab. If you want to take profits out. So most of our Amazon sellers typically only do this when they're taking profits out. They basically keep most of their stuff as USD and they use us as their main bank account because having a global account as someone who's selling internationally, it's super useful. And then basically this is how you withdraw it. So you just send it to your local bank account and that should hit your account within 3-4 hours.
Okay, got it. So Oksana has a question. So USD will be converted to Euro or AUD to Euro?
It depends what you're holding, Oksana. So basically, if you're holding AUD, it depends what you need to pay them as well. So if your invoice is in USD, then you'll convert the AUD to USD. So where possible, I would avoid converting it multiple times because then you get charged the 0.3% twice. And the idea behind what I was saying before is that if your supplier can charge you in euros, then that will probably be beneficial to you and to them because they receive the money quicker, and then you can also pay less on fees.
Justin,
it's definitely different to FX, and I need to get my head around it. I think Oksana just dive into it. It was a bit confusing as well when we started, but once you start using it, it's really, really easy.
Actually, she can actually book a call, can't she, and get some help with that as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we've got product specialists who are able to help with onboarding and basically help you get set up. So especially if you've signed up using Megla's link, basically or India Sourcing Network's link, there's a 20K free FX offer. And if you haven't used that link, just let us know and we can get that applied to your account. Basically, your first $20,000 worth of conversions is free. So we don't charge that 0.3 or 0.6% on that conversion for the first $20,000.
And get better rates as well, right? Especially if they're outside of Australia.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Customer service is the best ever. Yes, I totally agree. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm right here, but I might not be. If I say got $20,000 sitting in my US account and $2 in my Australian account, and then I want to pay someone in Australian dollars, do I have to transfer that across? Or if there's no money in Australia, do you just take it out of my US or not?
It depends on if you're paying with card. Actually, no, we can convert it. So when you're doing the transfer, you can select what currency you're paying. And then we'll convert it for you. So existing recipient, say AUD bank account. And then you can choose what currency you send here.
Okay.
It's like USD, and then we'll convert it for you while we're making the payment as well.
Yeah, I thought that was how it worked. And I went to do it the other day and I thought, I better not. So I transferred it over just in case. I didn't want it to fall over on me. And so that I was right. Yeah, I thought you'd said that before.
Yeah. The idea is that Jack's a business owner himself, so his whole thing is how do we save time, how do we save money, and so all these things this is just part of that.
Is there a time limit for how long we can hold the USD funds into the Airwallex account? For example, OFX is 90 days, after which it has to be transferred to our local bank account.
No, definitely not. So you can hold it for as long as you want there. We also don't charge you any fees for holding it there as well. I think Wise charges you, once you have over, $17,000, they start charging you negative interest rates. which kind of sucks. So yeah, we don't charge you any fees. You can leave it for there as long as you want. And yeah, which is super useful when as your business is growing, right? You want to have some funds there that allow you to purchase more stock and allow you to scale up, especially in e-commerce. Like you don't want to be forced after 90 days to convert it back into AUD and then have to put it back into USD because that's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It can get very expensive depending which way the dollar's
over
going.
time.
I know. I have had to do that recently, and converting back and forth. Oh my God, it was like a $5,000 payment or something, and I spent almost 300 or more just with the conversions back and forth. It was just crazy. This is with a regular bank, not Airwallex.
Yeah, I think part of it's just getting organized. Like this is just straight profit. Like when you're starting out, you just want to go quick. But this stock really adds up over time, and it may mean the difference between you being able to buy an extra pallet of stock versus not after a year, right? So it's pretty useful to start getting in the habit of finding stuff like this that allows you to save. And so you can buy more stock, spend more on marketing.
Feature request, would love if Airwallex can get us FF points kind of program. I hear a lot of folk in America get points from their bank cards for PPC payments. Yeah. FF
so that's definitely frequent flyer points.
Oh,
I love frequent flyer points too. So I reckon they're fantastic. Where possible, I do use my Amex. So I definitely, that's on our roadmap. Like we're only just getting Apple Pay and Google Pay though. So, it's like step by step, as I've said. But it's definitely on our radar of something to do. The main benefits of our cards, though, is you save that 3% international fee. So if you're located in Singapore, Australia, UK, and you're paying for USD subscriptions like your Helium 10, your Shopify, your PPC, all of that, they charge a 3% international fee unless you're using a 28 Degrees card or a Citibank card. And those are actually in your personal name. Whereas the great thing about the Airwallex cards is they're actually in your business name. And they don't charge that 3%. And I think we're the only cards that do this, and it really adds up. So like we have a lot of tech businesses who they pay a lot on AWS, and one of them was like, man, by switching to your cards, I've saved a grad salary. And that's just on their AWS, on their Slack, on their Zoom, and it's crazy what the banks are getting away with. So to create a card, I think that's a good segue for the cards. We come here and go create card, go new expense card, and here you select what you want to pay for. So let's say it's a Helium 10s. Actually, let's say it's a Shopify course, right, for India Sourcing Network. So you can create a Shopify card, Shopify course card, go next, spending limits. And I think I read it was pretty affordable, right? It's like $200, $250. Is it? No.
$279.
Yeah, $279. Yeah. So let's say we do 300 limit, and this basically allows you to only make a payment to create card. And then as easy as that, you've now got a card that you can plug in to make a payment for a fantastic Shopify course. Oh, it's so cool, right? First time you see it, I'm just like, wow. And it just brings a lot of control back into your business. So, like you can edit, freeze, cancel the card at any time. They're backed by Visa, so any fraud issues, it's the same as having that Visa guarantee. But the real benefits is that you can cancel the card, and you don't even have to call up the subscription. Like I actually had a subscription that reopened my credit card the other week, which is ridiculous. Like my card had been cancelled for ages and it reopened my card. And it's my responsibility to cancel the direct debits. Whereas with the Airwallex card, when it's cancelled, they can't draw anymore. You can also make employee cards as well. So this might be useful if you've got any, like we sometimes use it for our Philippine staff. So we might give them, $50 or $20 as a bonus or something like that. And you can give them this card, and it's much cheaper than buying a Visa card because a Visa costs you like $7. If they lose it, there's just all these different things. Whereas this is like it's all within your control. So if they've done really well, I can actually edit the limit of the card and change it to $300 for Christmas, and then back down to $20 a month for every other month. So it just brings all this new clarity and control that I don't think is like small businesses never really used to have access to this. And the great thing is it all feeds into Xero. So if you're the one doing the accounting, this will save you a lot of time. Any questions on the cards?
It would be a game changer and highly competitive product for Airwallex in this space if we can get points for spends, perks of running a high cash flow business. Yeah.
Everyone wants their frequent flyer point. We can't fly anywhere for long.
Yeah, but so I totally agree. Like we've got cashbacks at the moment. So if you spend over $25,000 a month, we can do a cashback on some of that. But our main value add at the moment is really that 3% savings. And if you're spending for so super interesting, all of those like the big multinationals like TikTok, Pinterest, they actually all charge in AUD, Facebook, but they actually base themselves out of Ireland for tax reasons, I think. And you actually still get charged an international fee, even though they're charging you an AUD. So it's super sneaky, and it's just something to keep in mind and to look through your invoice sometimes, because that really adds up.
Any questions so you can make on the cards, guys? Mm-hmm. So Mark, you've been using these cards, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I use it quite a bit. Well, I've sort of set up, all my helium-10 and everything just on that now, so I don't have to worry. And it's so much easier because I'm not paying, because I used to pay it on my credit card, and I mean, I was paying, all these extra fees, and then the exchange rate was horrific on the credit card. So by the time you paid a fee and the higher exchange rate, like, your $100 helium-10 could have been $130 Australian, $140 before your turn. So I find now, it's quite easy. It just comes out at 97 or whatever whatever it is, I can't remember. So it just comes straight out of your account. You know exactly what you've paid in USD. So, and that money can just come out of my Amazon account. I don't have to then transfer money out of my personal stuff to pay my credit card. And so I've got rid of all my payments out of my personal credit card that I was using for overseas stuff for the business. So it's really been good.
Yeah. So cards are currently available for Australia, Hong Kong, and the UK. Right? Three countries.
Yeah. I think you've made
Singapore.
Mm-hmm. Singapore is launching in 3 months. So like we're targeting start of the year, next year. We just got that license a few weeks ago. And then I'm pretty sure America has cards, but I can confirm that.
Okay. I started using cards. It's so easy. Love Airwallex. Yeah. Totally
awesome.
Agree,
good stuff.
How is your support? Can we actually talk to a human? You can talk to a human, and you can actually schedule a call with a human. Like not only customer support, you can actually, right, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys have experienced it, so I mean, like, yeah. So our structure is, like you guys have experienced it, right? So our ideal is that you don't have to talk to us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our idea is that you don't have to talk to us, but we're definitely there if you need it. So, like from the onboarding process, there's a product specialist who will reach out to you and they'll run a demo for you. It's definitely worth doing that demo, and then also doing one once you're approved, so then they can actually set you up and do all the specific call outs for your use case. Thereafter, we've definitely got human support in every country as well. So our big thing is that, because our tech is pretty good, we can also still afford to give that human interaction. And I think that really separates us from the other suppliers, is that we're laser focused on businesses, and businesses need that support.
Yeah.
So yeah, you won't get looped around on the FAQ constantly.
Yeah. And if you have a question or something, Justin is in our Facebook group, and we also have Anna from Airwallex in the group, so you can just come tag them or just send them an email. They're just so accessible. I find no problem at all.
Hit me up anytime.
Yeah. You can also just jump on and do a quick chat. You can do a quick chat. Like one night I was having a blonde moment paying something and I couldn't remember what to do. And I just went in the chat, how do I do this? And this guy came straight back and I went, oh yeah. So, I mean, sometimes you don't need to talk to the human because they're very quick on the answering. I mean, I didn't have to wait, and it was just instantaneous. I got an answer. So I thought that was really good as well.
Yeah, really useful if you have if you have anything, like you accidentally made a payment or you need to stop it or stuff like that, or you put something in wrong, like we're definitely there to help. So yeah.
This funny. Shivaji called me last Saturday afternoon after I had raised a ticket. I first thought it was an electricity company spraying. She was fantastic.
Spooking.
Spooking, okay.
That's funny as.
That's funny. Any other features that you want to highlight, Justin, while you have the demo open?
Yeah, show this account management function. So not super useful when you're starting, but if you ever start outsourcing your accounting, what you can do is you can actually create a role and you can actually select exactly what they can do. And I think this really highlights the technology, like which bank would allow you to customize something like this, right? We can have probably 10 people log in and it's like, we didn't have to sign any documents, we didn't have to do nothing. It's just, all within your control. So typically how like most people set it up is they'll remove card admin, they will remove the ability to approve. And then what that does is it means the bookkeeper can go in and make everything up to draft, and then you as the owner can go in and approve it. Final piece that I'll quickly run you through is this payments piece. So it is still in beta and there are still functions that we're building out. So like zero integration. But if you were just looking to get someone to pay you once off, this would be really good. Our rates are cheaper than Stripe. I think Stripe and Braintree have had a duopoly for way too long. So you go here, go new payment link, and then basically just select how much you want them to pay. They'll get emailed a link and asked to pay. It's pretty simple at the moment.
I can't wait to use this for our workshops. Like we are currently using Stripe, but this would be really good for our workshops.
Yeah, definitely. Let me see when we can chat about it later.
Yeah. And so can this be, embedded on websites, and does it work just like Stripe works in terms of, like embedding and setting up?
Like Stripe is an amazing business. So we're not at Stripe's level yet, because we're only 4 or 5 weeks in of releasing this product, but we are iterating it, and we do think it will be better than, or at least as good as Stripe in the long term. Where we'll differ from Stripe is on international payments. So if you're based in Australia or Singapore and you're accepting USD, we'll be way more competitive than Stripe. Domestic payment wise, we'll probably be on par. But anything that's international, we'll definitely be able to beat them. And that's basically because we started off at FX, and then we've got this crazy FX infrastructure where they've started off as a domestic payment processor and they're trying to build that way.
Okay. Yeah, Stripe also integrates with a lot of WordPress plugins, so that's a huge advantage as well. I think Airwallex will. We do
WordPress. Yeah, so WooCommerce.
Okay.
Yeah, so if anyone's got a WooCommerce store, hit me up. We'll get you some really good rates.
Okay. Jason Tay has WooCommerce. He has his own WooCommerce site. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow, it's almost an hour now, guys. Any more questions for Justin? Paying suppliers, getting your Amazon payments. Mark, do you want to talk about your Amazon payments? So you mentioned that they were coming in earlier, and
much quicker. My cutoff is Tuesday. I get an email from Amazon at 5:00 here in Australia on a Tuesday night to say my payment is going through, and it used to come into my other PSP on a Friday morning. I now, about midnight, if I check my phone, I've got an email from Airwallex saying your funds are in your account, and I go, what? That's not even 24 hours later, and I've got my money. So I get my money at midnight or so. It depends on about 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning on the Wednesday night. So it's just over 24 hours. So, that's a big difference. If you're relying on those funds to, pay for more stock or something, if you, sort of wanting it, and I mean, it's your money. I mean, I don't know what Jeff used to do with it, where it used to go for the week. I always used to blame Amazon. I used to think they were holding it up, even though they'd sent it, that they weren't processing it. But I'd say it's just the system before, whereas your system processes it a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think it's just we've just been we're building it on 21st century technology. So we're building it on Ruby. It's all on one system, and it's just OFX has been around for I think they just had their 21st year birthday. and they haven't really iterated on it. And I think a lot of the players have just like built the FX part, and then that's their main business. Whereas we want to support you in every way possible. So, eventually there'll be, we've already got cards, we can take payment. Eventually, as you grow and you need more functions, we'll be there like every step of the way. So, I think that it's absolutely a game changer. It's super liberating, I think, as a business owner, being able to do all this yourself without needing to call a bank. And you save money at the same time, which I think is the biggest thing, especially when you're starting out. I think every dollar really counts. As much as you want to go fast, I think doing it like setting up, like finding things that, coming to these webinars, getting that information, and also setting up yourself right will mean that you save, $100 here, $100 there. That's stock, that's probably an order of stock. So.
Yeah, every penny counts. So Lois is late to the show. Good morning, Lois. And we've got Trish. I can't see my card details. Can you tell me how, please, as this happened last week as well? View card details doesn't show all the details.
So it should, let me just share my screen. And if it doesn't, just shoot me an email after and I can follow up with support for you. But typically, typically it hides it as a default just for safety, but let me just show you quickly. So it should come up like this, and then you should be able to go view card details. And then it should load like this. So if it's not loading like that, just let me know, Trish, and I'll reach out to support for you. My email is, I can't type.
Do you want to type it in the private
it?
chat? Type it in the private chat, and then I'll just put it on there.
Cool. And then there's another question. Yeah, QuickBooks is coming soon. So we're probably, I think we're already testing it. So we've got a few beta customers on it already. So it shouldn't be too far away. I'd say within the next two months.
Okay. So there's his email address, justin.huang@airwallex.com. Trish, you can email him there. Okay, so let's start wrapping up. Guys, any more questions for Justin before we start wrapping up? Kevin, you've been going in and out today. Your connection is not too good.
Yeah.
He's been freezing. I need coffee.
I apologize.
Kevin,
I apologize, but there's nothing I can.
Yeah, again, he's frozen.
Do about it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, you are freezing. Yeah, and you've got a lot of snow in the background. I don't know. I mean, people, he's only like in the next room. He's not down the road anyway, so I don't know why.
Oksana Singh. Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you. Cool. So if you haven't signed up for Airwallex, take a look at the link that's scrolling down at the bottom of your screen, indiasourcing.net/Airwallex. We've got a special offer, as Justin mentioned. So $20,000 AUD worth of transactions or transfers are completely free. No exchange rate fees for those. And plus you also get preferential rates if you sign up using that account. Especially if you're outside of Australia, you'll get access to these preferential rates. So fantastic value, great tool, wonderful people, very efficient. We only have good things to say about Airwallex, and thank you so much, Justin, for taking the time today to come and do this Q&A, and it was really great. Mark, Kevin, anything else before we sign off?
No, let's hope.
I'd just like to thank Justin for his time once again.
No, always a pleasure. Yeah. I love chatting with you guys. So anytime. And if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to post it in the group as well. I'm pretty active there as well.
Diana saying thank you. Very interesting. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And we will see you next week for Webinar Wednesday. And hopefully, you'll also be signing up for some of our workshops. We've got Bootcamp, we've got Listing Optimization Workshop, and we've also got Shopify Workshop. So hope you'll be joining us for at least some of these workshops in October. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.